Good afternoon, everyone. It is June 29th, 2023. We are now one day from the very end of the month. Um, Today, what did we have? Well, the overnight stayed fairly bullish until a large liquidation heading into the open. We ran the overnight low right off the bat, and from there, the statistic being that 80% of the time we do not run the overnight high after that. So we did actually eventually break it by, I think, 3 ticks or so, which was an unfortunate stop out for myself, but interesting to note. And every stop run we did to the downside was holding as a higher low, and you can see that on the chart there in the middle. Just higher highs consecutively all day. Now, on the Nasdaq, similar situation, but interestingly, unable to break. I mentioned this as the key level. 139.5 was the key spot, and then coming into today, I thought if we got over that, we could consider the low of the day to be in, and instead we couldn't break that all day. We pretty much made a double top intraday, and we just kept bouncing off between pretty much the weekly open and that 139.5 number, kind of 140ish. So we were stuck in a range on the Nasdaq, and we put in a lot of high of the days here. These are full sessions, but the NQ highs of the day, they're all kind of sitting around this, I don't know, 140 to 160, sorry, 140, my bad. Uh, as of late, kind of 140-ish has been our late spot, but above there was 150 to 160, the RTH highs when I say that. So the Nasdaq has just been kind of stuck in this spot, and the ES also just putting in really tight sessions. So although yes, it's been an overall productive past couple days, in that we've turned 44.15, kind of 44.20s into support, which was clearly our resistance since about Wednesday. That's last Wednesday. Resistance, 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 resistance. Finally, we've turned that area into support, so that's good to see. And it was good to see that the low of the day ended up being yesterday's point of control, and that we're building this volume at the highs, leading me to think that we can get a nice end of month upper, get into that upper target and that 4,500 sort of number going into the end of the month. Do I think we'll hit there tomorrow? I'm not too sure. If we even held this thing right perfectly at today's RTH high, you'd be asking for a 60-point move. Maybe we don't get it. Not too sure. But I will just be looking to play the long side tomorrow. It's rare that the final Friday of a month and quarter is going to be a red day, so I would rather try and just look for longs and not try and get jammed on the short side. Same thing on the Nasdaq. I'll just be looking for longs. Now, how am I specifically looking to do that? Let's get into that. Let's get into the ES to start. 44.15s is pretty much the lowest spot I want to be looking to get long. I think below there you start to flirt with running these sorts of lows around 4,400. Maybe you could still try a trade like I don't know, 44.02 long. So I think that is our settlement lows after a run of those lows here. Even there's a 97 low that I'm interested in as well. So maybe you could take something like that long, 44.02s. But for the most part, I would mostly just be interested in trading above 15, trying to hold this area where the overnight initially found a bid, where this overnight session had this clearly as resistance. That was clearly a pivot of some sort during the Wednesday RTH. So I'd like to see 15s hold above there. I want to be long somewhere around 23.5 to 24. Again, that was our critical resistance area for days and days and days, even going back to kind of mid-month. And above there, I want to be long 36s after some sort of deeper backfill to the point of control around 30 quarter. On the Nasdaq, honestly, not interested in much, if you can't tell. Two things that I'm looking at. One is to be long 042s after a tag of 021, so essentially seeing all of these stops, 1, 2, 3, 4 areas of stops. I would like to see these stops all get rammed and taking 42s long. Or above there, I'd be wanting to play the long off of 139.5. Again, that in case it's not clear, look at this. These are 30-minute charts. resistance, 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 support, support, resistance, 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 support, resistance, 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 support. Clearly an important part. So I would like to see some sort of deeper move into the 130s and then getting long 139s and then seeing us get into this 200 area. I think we would be able to work, chew our way through, perhaps you could call it, chew our way through this 200 number and get a nice move upwards. Look at that, right now getting the pump. And a month trying to start it early. Nice to see. That's all I really have for tomorrow. I would like to be long on these guys. I'm not going to be looking to get short on them. I don't think that's advisable going into the end of the month. It looks like our ranges have compressed nicely, as you can see over here and over here. And the same thing on the Nasdaq. Our range compressing on the daily here, building up for some sort of massive green candle is what I'd like to see. So playing for that long upward move tomorrow. Nothing really else to say. News at 8:30 and 10 a.m. And that's about it. Have a great night. Trade safe, you guys.